coming in hot. I do think Fionbun from before was a really strong top lane in his own right, and I wouldn't have mind seeing how he would fare with this team. But I do think it has an identity. Domino you could think of as like a Verdant Light kind of lineup, and it will be interesting to see how well they fare. Draven, Olaf are definitely not the early blue side bands we're used to. Nico we're used to, Zeri we're used to, the inevitable Lucian band we're used to, but these bands, they seem to know something we don't. Spooder, obviously, a really well-known Olaf one-trick. You have to think maybe that's why this guy's called Two Axes. They've decided they just don't want to deal with them on their most comfortable champions, but it also does leave a lot open in the phase. If Lucian's banned now, Yumi's up, Milio is up, many things are up. Milio will be down, Lucian will be up. Let's see what Fourth will decide to do.
I think that we saw the whole Yumi aspect earlier on really be torn apart by the Draven, right? So when you have someone like Two Axes who is pretty well known for their Draven, and if you want to lean towards the Yumi potentially, I think that just removing the Draven from the equation could be a pretty interesting thing to do here. But it's going to be a Gragas first pick here. You were talking about how Spooder kind of could turn into a Gragas one trick. Well, Molto is potentially going that route.
Yeah, it could also be a flex pick here. They just don't want to reveal too much, and they want to be able to counter whatever it is that Dominoes do. A Lucian draft, for example, would have a lot of emphasis on engage, and Gragas does give you an element of disengage. I also start to think about stuff like Kindred, right? Champions like this have a lot of value if Gragas is now on the table. So we'll see. It's an interesting opening phase. Lucian is still on the board, though. The Maokai is some nice point and click to have to deal with a Lucian. We've seen Cassante be a flex pick before. They could just try to match the Gragas with the Cassante wherever the Gragas ends up going, and it looks like they will go for the Lucian. They don't care about the point and click from the Maokai, even though Lucian, not the greatest track record today, or in general, people still do see its value.
Well, this rotation, there's not a lot of... This is a classic rotation, right? Especially going into the second round of bans, so you want to get that strong synergetic connection that we've seen so many times. Like, this connection is so old that I feel like it's been around since, like, Season 3, I want to say, right? Lucian and Nami being a duo for that long. Kind of been like one of the natural things. And again, we see the Aphelios being picked in here. Nothing real surprising. But now the second round of bans is coming in, right? And this is where the X Factor can really start coming through, because how do you want to set up someone like Clover 7 in the mid lane if you're Domino, right? Like, you want to ban out some of the ones coming through from the other side of the field.
We're also kind of gated at that point to having Clover 7 on something with a lot of AD, right? So I'm wondering about Talon, for example. Champions like this, that can have a lot of influence in that mid lane. Maybe he does get the Cassante and you end up with AP on top side, but I do feel like Clover 7's gonna have to pull out something weird here. They might have to give him last pick. They are in a better position to just go for support next and just save last pick and try to get as many counter picks as possible on red side. They're the ones banning the Yasuo. Did they think they were picking? Because I would assume that they would be the guys who would want the Yasuo at this point, given the predominance of AP on their team right now. But no, it seems that they are very worried about Ericsson getting this Yasuo pick. They've also now knocked down the Cassio. That's a Rod of Ages champion. I do think we're going to see some form of assassination of Clover 7 in the mid lane, and it will be interesting to see what that is. I agree with the Lulu ban. Lulu would be a good way to get around the Lucian army burst. I'd assume the next ban would be a Fresh. If it's not, the game gets a bit interesting. It's going to be the Nautilus instead. So Fresh is open. Fresh Aphelios is a very common duo. Instead, we're hovering Evelyn for some reason.
Yeah, I think that also Clover 7 has played a lot of, I guess, played a fair bit of Kiana in League of Nexo, right? That is that AD assassin you're talking about. I know you might not be fully sold on that pick, but it's something that is in the that is in the wheelhouse.
Okay, Rakan has been locked in. Very strong champion as part of an engaged team. Very good follow-up on the Maokai point and click here. Very good ability to just decimate your entire team. To be honest, I think that champ's broken.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'd be down for this.
Locked? It would be interesting. They're hovering interesting picks.
And then just gonna lock something boring. You know they're gonna extend it. Oh.
Oh my.
There we go. I mean, the Poppy isn't completely traditional, but it's a way more boring champ than the Katarina, right? I think that's
It's very common in the current competitive meta, though. We do see this every other game. It's a good pick into the Rakan, right? It's a really good pick into the Rakan. It's a good pick into Cassante. It's a good pick into Maokai. It's a good pick in general, and it also gives teams more control over neutral objectives. Now, the Anivia pick is a pairing that I saw once very recently, but it doesn't look like they want to go for it. It looks like they'll go for the Jace. The thinking with Poppy and Nivea, it's obviously the Nivea walls, and the Popster pins you straight into the wall. But instead they're going to go with the Jace, which is an AD option that Clover7 may have been thinking about going in pairing with this Maokai. If he ends up going an AP option, it's Mercs treads the clock on the enemy team. It's a very easy set of itemizations for them. We'll see what he does. Could be an interesting one. I keep thinking about Talon. It's not going to be even slightly interesting. He's just going to go for Ari, which is, it's like going to the ice cream machine and getting a 99 flake. It's like, okay, I accept the power of the 99 flake, but let's be real, mate. Okay, you're basic. You're basically the stock photo equivalent of an ice cream buyer, all right? And that's what we've got going from Clover7 on the Ari. It's a good setup, though, right? Maokai point and click into Ari Charm. Good way to chase down the Lucian as well. It's a good pick. Very flavor of the 4 months.
I mean, I'm just excited to get into this game talking, right? Like, what really stands out to you here?
What really stands out to me is just fourth wall as a whole, right? I'm really looking at them. What are they gonna bring? I like the fact they were looking at some spice, but if we look over to the side of Domino, I'm looking at Chakale in the early game in particular. How will he bring out the action? What I most remember for in spring was the listen, was these early game proactive junglers, and yes, you can do that as a Maokai. It's not the most obvious early game ganger, right? You have things that are better than that, like the Jarvan, like the listen. So it's not what I would associate normally with Chakale, who is a damage-oriented, I am one of the carries jungler.
I agree.
And not the I am your support. But I think it can work. I think he has the tools to make it work as well. And with the confidence they locked it in, you know, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying, you locked it in this early, I believe you have a plan for it, and I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yep, I find the Jace to be the most interesting part of all this composition. I really like that they went for Gragas first. I really like that they wanted their opponents to start committing to a draft before they decided which kind of draft they're comfortable going for. There's a lot of one-shot potential, but there is this one thing that we keep talking about when we see teams like this, and that is lockdown, right? With Lucian, the entire composition is based around lockdown. If Lucian gets his opening salvo and burst off, that's all you really care about. A lot is on the Gragas to set that up. But, you know, we've seen Jace's just vacuum clean entire teams at this point, so I think you could get it anyway. Eyes on this midsection. Clover7 versus Ericsson. That could really swing the game one way or the other, depending on how that matchup goes.
Yeah, and I think that's a big one as well, right? Because I think that we've seen a lot of new faces, right? And this is the first top division ERL showcasing from Clover7, right? So you really want to hit the ground running. You really want to get out there. Well, meanwhile, someone like Ericsson, for example, he's been around since the inception of the NLC, right? Nordavent, been on Dusty as well back in the day, if I recall correct, right? He's a player that's been around the block for a while, and you have the complete opposite in Clover7. And then also you have someone like Chakale, right, who we know Duckling because we both casted him in the Danish leagues. That's close to 4 or 5 years ago now, right? Like, he's also been around the block for a while.
Yeah, he certainly has been here for ages, and he's always been known for his proactive style, and it's really been known what he's found success with, which, as we both talked about, begs the question, how is this Maokai gonna work out? But I have no doubts he's gonna make it work with the confidence he locked it in with, so if it doesn't work, I'm going to be asking more questions and be wanting to get him to go back to his old style. But if this works out, it just shows Domino are even stronger than I initially expected and are less linear as well.
Yeah, and just a quick thing here as well. We are apologizing here. We do have a play disconnect we need to get sorted. Then when we get right back into the game, we apologize for the delay. Veteran, you know, again here, can a domino here, can it break the fourth wall? Like, can they break our immersion into the game? Like, that's the big thing here, right? Because, like, we need to get fully pulled in here, right? We need to be convinced by the fourth wall.
What is a domino but a wall that falls?
That's the point, I guess.
people out there that are more
Think about it.
philosophical than me, you can kind of answer that in the chat. I think there's a lot of things to work with in that regard here as well, right? So I'm just super excited for this game, to be completely honest. Right, it's the final game of the first day of the NLC. We've probably gotten more questions than answers today, right? By seeing these two teams that pretty much everyone across the block here on the talent team, at least, expected to come out swinging. They just lost, right? Like we've seen a win for Vanir, we saw a win come through from Unique, right? Like, these were not wins we were expecting to see. Will we see another upset?
I mean, it isn't fully a day of upsets because I predicted Verdun to win that game, so not every game has been an upset, but I think the match of the week was very, very close. Looking at it even on paper, I was unsure who to vote for there. The other ones have definitely been upsets, and what I think is the biggest story to take away from our first day of NLC so far is don't write off what you don't know, because they can definitely surprise, right? The rookies have come in guns blazing. They've pretty much everyone surprised us positively, and there are a lot of good stories we can start to look at and see how they will unfold throughout the history of this split. So I am very, very excited to see how those stories unfold moving forward, and I'm excited to see if Fourth Wall can start a new story with that chapter in the NLC. Hopefully a long chapter, because obviously the NLC has had a lot of changes. If we look back just 1 year ago, there's only one org that remains, so hopefully Fourth Wall have come to stay, and I'm excited to see their story begin here in the NLC Div 1.
I do think Fourth Wall's draft has gotten off to a really good start here, right? Like, I think it's difficult for Lucian to play within these ranges. I don't think there's even that much of lockdown that you have to be countering. So I think... Wait, have we switched the two teams around here? Or am I... Wait, one sec. Or am I completely blinded? Alright, I think right now, if I am either of these two teams, I'm not entirely sure what I want my Rakan to be doing in this game. The issue with how Snarby likes to play early is that way be playing 2 would be the Ari Maokai setup or the Spuda Maokai setup, and I think in either scenarios that isn't really what you want to be accelerating. So on the side of Dominoes, you're thrown off in a very uncomfortable manner. So despite all of these issues that we could say exist in the Lucian Nami draft, at the very least, if Fourth Wall are all playing under some degree of comfort, they're going to have an easier time deciding what they want to do. And that's the big advantage that they have to have. Snarby loves it when you can just run around the map and make things work that way. But you don't want to do that this game, do you? You want your Aphelios to be steamrolling ahead. Your Aphelios is basically all of the AD damage on your team. And that's how you want to be playing out this game. It looks like Maokai's looking to do bot to top regardless, though. Admittedly, going towards bot side here would be a nice kind of cheesy play, but you're not going to have much pressure bot in the early phase. You're not going to get much acceleration done anywhere else, though, in a way where it's going to be beneficial to the rest of Dominoes. So Fourth Wall need to hope that Dominoes start to try to play to how their players are comfortable rather than to what the composition dictates. Because if they fall into that trap, things could get pretty bad pretty fast.
And as this early game continues to develop, I will keep looking at the minimap for Shakay. Look for his rotations. Where is he going? Where is he hovering? What does he want to do with this early game? Looking to go more of a damage-oriented build. Not a surprise if you know the player. And it was a surprise though that the fact was he has made a song with Jack Harlow. That's the guy who likes mobs, right?
I have no idea. You just went to the moon with that, mate.
Let me Google this. I'm pretty sure Jack Harlow is known for he's the guy who's very into moms. I've just Googled him. I know that. I've seen him on TikTok.
You know, I don't even have
a TikTok. If you can't pick up from this conversation, this is going to be very weird. Anything you want to talk about, Veteran? You've had a good day?
What's going on?
Come on, just pick it up, right? Do something here.
Okay, Jace getting a lot of priority early. Lucian Nami getting a lot of priority early. Gragas can basically do whatever he wants. That's why Maokai wanted to go bot to top. If Maokai went top to bot, Gragas could just contest the Maokai in bot side jungle. He has the ward there, he has the vision. If he had the knowledge that Gromp was up, blue buff was up, that guy would be getting invaded, much like you saw in the Ruddy game, Zapdos invading bot side against the Lee Sin, right? So this is why Maokai, even though the one thing he really wants to accelerate is bot side, is forced to path towards top side. What happens on the next rotation is what matters though. Because on the next reset, Domino's lane is pushing out. You're going to need your Maokai to help you there. Clover 7 is recalling off of this push in mid lane, matching the Jace recall that only got a tier, and it would potentially be in a position to TP bot, worst case scenario, where Gragas would just extend.
Molto will spot Chakale here in the bush, so that means they have vision over him. Both of the junglers have finished their first full clears, and the reset has already come through from Ute, who has spotted a little bit more AP and a Dark Seal to follow along the recall. This time coming through from Chakale after being spotted. We see Ute going back towards his top side jungle, knowing that Chakale very unlikely to be here, having just done the recall.
You know I don't have a TikTok.
You don't have TikTok?
I've never used
I
the app
mean,
in my life.
it's understandable. What is the age difference between us? Are you 30?
Yeah.
I've heard. Are you actually? I mean, it's fair to say that because one thing I realized
on my
veteran.
Wikipedia.
It's I don't go to your Wikipedia, but one thing I do remember actually, right? You coached H2K in what was it, 2018?
In 2016 and 2018, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember seeing it.
years.
That's one. I watched a lot of LCS back then. I might have taken a fan picture with you if you won with H2K when I was down to the studio.
Oh, really?
So there is
That
a
would be really
chance
cool.
that there is a chance for that. I'm not too certain. I can't remember. I have to go and look through my photos. But if you went out for the fan meets, I took photo with all the players, and I believe H2K won. Were you with them only when they were good in like spring, when they were actually a good team, or were you there with summer as well when it wasn't as good?
I was there in both spring and summer if we're talking about 2018, and I was there in
2018,
2016 as
2018.
well, where depends who you're asking if you'd say that one was good.
I mean, 2016, I was too young to go to the studio. I was like, what, 14 back then.
I just physically aged when you said that. I just aged.
Yeah, I mean, it's very weird to think about, huh? And now we're both sitting here casting Spooder being dominated by Molto in the top lane. I mean, that is a false statement. He's not being dominated. He's just down in HP.
He's down in HP, he's fine for waves, and he still has teleport, and crucially, he has Maokai moving top side while Gragas is making the play for Drake on bot side, right? So if both these guys are losing HP, nice rule of thumb, the guy who wins is the guy with the closer jungler, right? Which is why Jace is taking steps to try to control Maokai here, because Molto doesn't have the ability to just trade if Maokai is about to come and gank him, right? Suddenly that HP deficit turns really fast if Maokai is able to do that for free. Gragas will get that Drake. Yeah.
I mean, Shakira is pretty low here, right? He's surprisingly low from the clear. I thought it was full HP and he was going to go for the gank, but he is not. Instead, he's going to just clear out the Crocs and then likely look for yet another reset. It has been a slow 6 minutes to start us off. I mean, not a lot of early game actions, but yet again, I'm going to reiterate my point. If Domino managed to work this out and play a slow early game but still win the game, I would be really impressed, and I would be even more excited than I already am for this team.
Yeah, when I was really young, Facebook was the big thing, but I didn't have a Facebook. So I just want to say I'm not entirely sure this is an age thing. Twitter is like...
Facebook?
No, I never had a Facebook. My dad was paranoid about it.
Oh.
He turned out to be completely correct, but yeah, he was paranoid
true.
about it.
I mean, I was so young when I started using Twitter. Then when I actually changed my birthday on Twitter, I got locked out of my first Twitter account because I created before I was 13, which was a bummer. I just had 200 followers, and I was casting back then as well. It was a really scary time. I thought I lost my career.
Do you even know what MySpace was?
I never had a MySpace. No, I was too young for that.
But did you ever see MySpace?
Yeah. I mean, I know what MySpace is because it was featured in movies and stuff around the time, but never used it. Yeah.
There you go.
It's a weird world, huh? 10 years between us. 11 actually.
Yeah, I have to keep saying that.
No. It's just hard. It's just weird to think about. And now you're feeling older and older. I mean, we're both using glasses, so that says something about the age diff, right?
What?
It's not that bad. Yeah, we're both using glasses here. It's not that bad. We're not both. I mean, I'm aging as well. It's not only you. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And with that, we'll leave our age conversation be.
Okay. I'm just going to put that statement down to your age. It's fine. Look at the free man going on in
Yeah,
mid,
this is.
though.
Oh my! That is nasty. That is not okay. This is not allowed. That is disgusting. He is gonna die first blood for Clover 7. Oh, that was clean, coordinated. That is what I expect to see from my boys Snappy and Chakale. Clean first blood for Domino.
They are losing out a lot on bot lane, though. You see
who
those
cares?
nerfs to the early minion waves happening. I want to see if a plate's gone down on bot, but Aphelios' head, unfortunately, is covering the number there. But they were definitely getting pressure down. Snobby is extending mid lane again, trying to, I think, enable a Herald here. But just by the act of showing, Lucio and Nami know they can get another push on bot. This is what you're talking about. Snarbe feels like his home is basically anywhere but where he grew up, like a typical angsty teenager. You must be able to relate, Duckling. And as a result, Fourth Wall are able to take advantage of that fact and are able to push 2axes further away from that tower, acquire more plates, get a lead purely by just playing the lane out, because Snarby extended
really nice.
so much on the map.
Really, really nice play there, punishing Snubby's rotation. And as 2axes tries to get back to his third, he will be forced away by you. Nicely played from 2axes in the fact that he's not overextending, not being too greedy, but he obviously does lose a lot. On the back of it, Blink very happy with that, as the Lucian snowball now slowly but surely gets rolling, not in terms of kills, but in terms of gold, in terms of the CS and the plate. Clover 7, no ultimate here, Spirit Rush not available, Flash already used, Clover, good flash, but not good enough. You have to feel as Ericsson will take him down with the E, and he, gets revenge for his earlier death.
Nicely done there by Ericsson. No free man there to save Clover 7, only his own play, and unfortunately was not good enough. Jace now being on the board's big. He was already ahead in CS. He's going to be able to deny more. Clover 7 does not have TP, so Shackle's going to have to pick this up on mid lane. Don't leave Jace alone with a turret at any stage of the game. He will melt that sucker like he's doing there. 3 shots go out and almost a plate already given. He's gotten the plate, I think.
Wow, yeah, he did. You can
Did
see
he?
it's fallen
Just
off.
barely gets, yes, just barely got the plate. And yeah, Ericsson's gonna really like that. He has teleport himself, so he can recall late and extend longer in mid lane, and still be back in time for the next wave if he desperately needs to be.
And the small goal lead here for Fourth Wall. First Herald has been taken, by the way, for Shaquille. He still has about half the time to figure out where he wants to place it. Where do you feel would be a good fit here, Bertrand?
For which one to play today, I'm sorry?
Shaquille plays the Herald.
To place the Herald. So I thought you said to play today. And I was like, what?
Ooh.
He's obviously gonna
yeah.
play in the NLC.
Hasn't played much today, to be fair.
Yeah, so in terms of Herald, I think you just want to open up midsection. I think you're definitely going to be losing out on bot side no matter what at this point. If you can open up the midsection tower earlier, that makes Fourth Wall's decisions around the map a lot harder. Other than that, you could just opportunistically place it. If you do get a good gank, this is an intentional placing of Herald on bot if he's doing it here. An opportunistic placement would be, I want a team fight here, this is the nearest tower that I can drop, I'm going to drop the Herald here. Now, I think that's also fine, but ultimately...
All the flash.
Yeah.
We'll start from
pretty
2x's.
Wow.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, just a dash forward. Throughout the explosive cash, you get a flash on the AD carry. You're happy with that, even if you do end up losing this trade. Could theoretically be a 50-50, but it will be secured here by Shaquille. Dash forward from Clover 7, and he catches on towards Chimera, and he's dead. No doubt about that, as 2x's picks up the second kill for Domino in the game.
We're not playing mid lane now. 2Axe is getting on the boards really good, given how much gold he was losing by this plate differential, and this is the opportunistic drop. You've made a play on bot lane, the play has succeeded, so we're dropping the Herald here. Molto on the flank!
Yeah, with the deep TP, using those changes to get the flank early on, but unable to really get anything. The Herald Charge still came through. The gold, though, given over to Shaquille and not 2x's, because he wasn't in the area to pick it up thanks to that flank.
No ultimate available on Chimera, Blink, or Ute. I think you have to assume if they were available, they would just try to go all in on the fight while Poppy flanked, and the Poppy flank would be more successful there. As is, you need to think about these critical ultimates being up before you go for a play like that, or it's not really going to work out so well, as Molto just discovered. Though you have to praise him for going for the attempt at all, right? It was a good try, just ultimately his team wasn't in a good position to be able to capitalize on it or to facilitate said play itself.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. The execution wasn't quite there, but, I really thought, I liked it. Yeah, I'm gonna say I liked it overall, to be honest. I'm staying positive here today with the plays we are watching. Clover as well has surprised me so far, has some good performances, definitely hit his abilities. when needed to. But we are still earning in the game, still much to be decided. Just a 400 gold to separate these two teams here, as both of them looking to prove themselves for their first game ever in the NLC. That's worth to remember. Division 1, of course. They have played in lower divisions just last split. Let's see if they can get a win on the board. They're not out of this game by any means. And if they're gonna win, right, they have to look for Blink, right?
Yeah, I mean, Blink is the guy that's been steamrolling ahead, but look, no bounty on him whatsoever. Fun fact, plates do not value themselves for bounties as much as kills do, or even CS does. So giving him all of that doesn't necessarily give you an easy win con to claim it all back. Whereas if Lucian was to go 4-0, you'd probably end up with like a 700 gold bounty on him, and that would be a really easy way to do it. So they gave him a lot of free gold on bot side there. They're not able to trade back for plates anymore with 14 minutes 22 seconds into the game. But map plays are now a thing. Clover 7 commenting being good around the map. Snabby 2!
Yeah, Snabby finds
There
the
they
pick, and
are.
obviously it goes over to Clover yet again. But on the other side, 2X's could be in trouble. Blink wants to burst him down, but can't quite get the damage. Now the flash in from Ericsson, but it fails horribly. And now Ericsson, the one in trouble. Clover though will fall, and Ericsson somehow, some way, he's out. For now, as Blink looks to go forward, looks to get even more, and he will get a double kill for his top lane at 2X's. Alive on a blinking HP bar. Spooder dashes forward. He has the all out. He uses it, but not on the right target. Chimera though will get bursted down by the Cassante. Shakel over the wall and back, and he dies. Somehow Blink gets the kill, and 2X's still alive, should be able to get out.
Should be, but he's about to show. They know where he is now, but there's no real way for the Jace. Yeah, there's no real way for the Jace. Worry. I'm sorry, I'm impartial here. I'm not worried if Jace. It's just the thing that happens, mate. Okay. Is 2X's Danish?
No, I think he's Swedish. So I actually should not like him.
Okay.
No, he's not Swedish. He's Romanian,
He's
so I have no
Romanian.
problem with him. I thought he was
Wait,
Swedish.
do Danish people not like Swedes? Or
I mean,
is
it's a long-standing rivalry, right? I think no other countries have fought more wars between each other than Denmark and Sweden. I mean, but last year I casted a lot with M-Test, and we really bonded well. So my opinion of Swedes have improved, and I was also at Malmö for the finals, and Sweden was a pretty cool country. So yeah, my opinion of Sweden is improving, but on paper I should hate Swedes because, you know, those damn Swedes.
Let's move on from that conversation.
I mean, that's a history lesson for you.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that there were so many wars between Denmark and Sweden. I have no knowledge of the history of that area. Drake's about to come up though in 37 seconds. So you want to talk about war? Let's talk about the war between Forfall and Dominoes coming in hot, because I think Clover 7 really tried his eyes off there to land multiple charms and tried to set up a kill, but ultimately it was all for naught. Ericsson gets away with like 1 HP, right? But I liked... Wow, never mind.
2X is dead. I mean, he got a shutdown himself on Blink, so it's a 1-for-1 in a 1v3. Shakel now in trouble though, TPing from behind from Clover, so they might look to try and turn the play around here. Ultimate comes through, Clover still on the flank, unspotted. He goes towards Camara, he'll burst him down instantly. Could go for Ericsson, but instead he'll look for Youth. The ultimate completely with some Molto, and now they're in a whole heap of trouble. It's Molto fighting with Spooder in the 1v1. Somehow Youth is out. Maybe even Molto could find his way out of this one. He is pretty tanky, but the dash fall from Clover should seal his fate, and he will. Shutdown goes over to Shakel, second Drake for Domino.
Not being such a good showing from Chimera, he's being on the receiving end of most of Domino's plays, and that does open up the second Drake. It's only the second Drake, it's not the third Drake, it's not the Soul Drake yet. But still, if that's a preview of what's to come, then you really can't be trying to trade for the affiliates like that, because currently the most impactful player in a lot of these has been Shakel, setting up most of these picks, and Clover and Snarby following it through. This free man that we were talking about before game as potentially being enabled by Clover's addition to the team, that has definitely been the case. This free man's finding picks left, right and center. It's going really well for them. They look to be the star of the show for Dominoes.
And as Domino are still in a small lead, it is just 200 gold, so it could quickly change in the matter of one team fight. One pick even could really change how this game goes. You have to feel as the first and second items are slowly but surely getting there. 2 items on Blink. He is still the main man to look at. All those plates fueled into him alongside a couple kills. A built a strong AD carry, but he's not game-breakingly fed. It's not like he can 1v9 or anything yet, but he still needs to be prioritized. Has the cleanse available though, and with just 1.5 minutes on the Baron, you're starting to look towards the big neutral objective.
Yeah, 100%. How are they going to set this up though? Like, you have Clover 7 getting a really big push in on top side, and that can help you get vision out, but you're going to have to answer that bot push eventually. Are they just planning to give up this entire bot side? They have to do that for the next minute, the next wave and a bit. Not sure that's incredibly viable. They want to try and get a dive on a Gragas Nami. Doesn't quite sound like something that would work to me. If they're also trying to make an attempt to burn Poppy's teleport, I think Poppy's fine holding it for now, because she only has to hold it for another 30 seconds. That will be a tower bot side. 4-4 with Domino. They really want this dive.
There's Flash and the cleanse on Blink, so he just dashes out before that, doesn't even need the summoner spells, has the Gale Force to get him out.
Oh
okay,
my god.
nice sidestep.
But both...
I think that's a good trade overall, right? To get the turret still.
Both Snarby and Shuckle's ultimates are down, and Clover 7's.
Well.
That's going to be crucial for the Baron. Previously, they were looking to do an immediate Baron contest, but now I think if you're thoughtful, you feel very confident about
and
doing it.
Ericsson wants to abuse that, goes in.
Yeah.
Also sends Spooder packing. The Ignite gets burned by Snappy. No kill to be found. No summoners burned either from fourth wall. And looks to be with the ultimate expended from Domino, no one will instantly go towards the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, resets abound. Domino's still looking to try to maintain their control, but you could feel the pain of not having the ultimates up, not having those crucial things. Ericsson, it's illegal that he jumps in there under any other circumstance, but these were the circumstances that you gave by going for that dive on mid. If you want to do that dive on mid, I think it's a dive on mid into a straight reset, back in towards control and try to do the dance again. The ultimates are up now though, on the side of Domino. Snarbies will be up by the next wave. Whereas on the other side of 4-4, Poppy's not going to be up for a bit.
Yep. And the thing is though, the Keeper's Verdict isn't really the most important ultimate in a fight, but it can be a game changer if you use it well. It's just very rarely that we see that happen in competitive, so might still want to fight even without the culling. And tidal wave, especially very important. Baron's got it up here. They are unaware of it. They can kill it somewhat quickly, not the quickest. And that's it's burning down, Snappy should spot it out.
Yeah, I
don't think they're going to
TP
continue
and
this.
2-axis doesn't. 2-axis does not. 2-axis reset here is the big problem.
They know it's happening. TP's coming in. The Kalis there as well. No, they just wanted the TP. Smart play.
They got the TP, and the big thing that was abused here was the lack of Poppy ultimate. Poppy had R there, that TP doesn't matter. Poppy just positions so that she can ult away the jungler or the general contest that's coming in, and then they can win that fight. But because the Poppy ultimate was still down, it was entirely possible for Domino to take full control of Baron Pit.
It's now Domino on the offense though. 6,000 HP and dropping Molto. Looks to step forward here, looks to knock someone away, but he fails to now Clover on the flank. He finds a target that he wants to assassinate. And dude, so low, but doesn't fall quite yet there. Finally goes down Clover, continues to go forward. Finds the double kill. And that is the Baron secured for Domino. 3 massive kills in the game. Swings in their control.
Spooder doing a huge dive there. 2-axis getting all his damage out, and Clover getting dash after dash after dash where he needs to. That turned into an incredibly good fight for them. Yes, 4-4 were trying to play to burn Clover's TP, but they had to give up the entirety of their Baron control to do it because the Poppy didn't have ultimate at the time. And as a result, they ended up having to opt into a 5v5 fully in Domino's advantage as far as terrain control was given.
I mean, that was certainly a fight. As you said, I think you put some great analysis out there.
Was
the Keeper's Verdict
yeah.
would have been a very, very big ultimate to have initially, but with that on cooldown, as you said, lost the control on Domino. They punished that. We're definitely seeing teams being able to punish each other's mistakes, and as Soul Point now is available, the game has swung into Domino's court, and if they can now catch the game, they should be able to close it out unless Fourth Wall come up with something. Blink still has the damage. He's still a strong player in this game. 2 items on Ericsson, but it doesn't look easy anymore for Fourth Wall to get back into this.
By absolutely no means is this look easy. Clover seems to have such immense pressure on bot lane. Jace is unsure if he can actually step up because there's just no control. Clover had the push before that Baron, remember, right? They got Clover's TP when Clover was touching the bot tier 2 tower. So all of this bot side jungle's in Domino's control. So Jace has no vision to know where the Maokai is, if the Maokai could be making a play on him or not, and just had to let Clover push in by the function of the way that the map is right now. And now, even more, he's trying to make a pick.
Yeah, Ericsson is in trouble. He has forced to use the flash thanks to the slow. In the mid lane, fourth wall looking for something. They surely aren't able to kill Spuda here. He's so tanky. Now he takes Molto all the way back into the mid lane with him. And 2 axes just evaporates the bot lane of fourth wall. Molto running, but his fate is surely sealed here as Spuda should be able to take him down. Doesn't have the flash, doesn't have a way out. Tries to play around here for a little bit, but he should die, right? I mean, yeah, there he goes. He finally falls, and it's just a one fight yet again for Domino, and this time it's on the back of 2 X's.
I'm not going to say the macro is perfect. It felt like a lot of the times neither team really understood which ultimates they needed to be up for which contests, but Domino's are winning this game through that kind of macro, right? They had really good control of the vision on bot side. They split the enemy team up. They made one play on WOD side and then rotated really hard to immediately capitalize off the play that they had made. They're playing that balance setup really well, executed it strongly. And you know, what matters is that they executed to the extent where they're in a winning, commanding position for the rest of this game.
Yeah, the lead went from being a couple thousand gold to now a 6,000 gold lead almost. Let's see what happens here though. Fourth wall want to respond. A TP burned here from Ericsson up in the top lane, and it's Spuda still on the aggressive, all out on cooldown, but he doesn't really seem to care. Still chasing him down, sped up by his teammate. Clover has used the ultimate, knows there is no flash on Ericsson. He's caught up and he's just dead. No flash, no way out.
Divide and conquer is the name of the game for Domino, and once the first domino falls, they know how to keep it going. Ericsson is down. They're getting the wave on top side. They know mid's just going to push itself for now. Gonna be interested to see what they do after they get this wave in, because you could easily put a player that you believe is going to be good in the flank on that mid wave and just keep having that pushed out and then try to threaten tier 3 off of it. But right now the play is tier 2 and they're diving.
Yeah, Blink could have been in trouble, but he's out to safety. But only for a little while, as Molto will be the one to fall instead. The mid lane, or the top lane tier 2 rather, stopping Domino from going further, but only for a little while. They will take down that turret instantly, maybe even look for the tier 3. The bottom lane on fourth wall alongside Juke, here to try and save the game as Ericsson responds in 4 seconds. Domino, they decide to go for the reset.
Now, no matter what, you want to be playing with that mid wave, right? That mid wave pushes itself, but it also allows you, if you have a good flanker on that, either the Ahri or maybe even Cassante on that mid wave, then they can get a good flank position to set up for what Domino want next. The inhibitor on either one of the sides, right? So try to play with that in mind. Don't be tempted to play a full 5-man lane. Just try to play a 4-1 here, and the game is fully in your hands. 1 minute 40 until the Drake. That is a soul for Domino. 1 minute 30 until the Herald. If they play 4-1 to bot side right now, then not only could they open the inhibitor for the Baron, but they're also in a good position to take the Drake.
Domino are looking really good. I want to go back to Clover. I thought this guy has played an immensely good game. Very impressed with him so far. And the reason I'm hiring him so much is because he was yet again one of the players where I had a big fat question mark. What can you bring to the table? Well, he's certainly showing things that he's bringing to the table this game. He has been very good. And I continue to just find positive story in these question marks we had coming into the split, because they're all answering the questions. They're all good at League of Legends.
They are, and I do want to say, I feel like it's going to be really difficult for me to decide on an MVP, because for me, it's this 3-man that Domino have going. They have a pick composition if you look at the Maokai, look at the Ahri, and if you look at the Rakan, and they've all been playing really well off each other in every single one of these fights, right? Here is that 3-man again, securing that tower on bot lane. Here is the flank coming in. They are keeping Spuda on that mid section. They're keeping this now as a straight 4-1. It's very well played, but it's being that pick grouping that has been doing a lot of the lifting on the game. But there's still points of criticism, right? Like, you could see how Snubby's desire to do things on the map did cause Lucian to get a good early lead on bot. CS-wise, we've actually never recovered from that. The Aphelios is still 60 CS behind the Lucian, though the Lucian has been vacuuming super minion waves on mid lane for a while. But that free man is what exploded the game, is what's playing really well in the team fights, and yes, Clover has been an extremely aggressive part of that.
An impressive game from Domino as they will secure the soul with Baron on the map, though. It looks to be fourth wall making a counter move on the other side. Shakail is there to go for the 50-50, and I have no doubt that it's something he wants to take, knowing his playstyle. Maybe even the fight here. TP in from Clover does have Spitters available. Snappy looking for the flank, but they send Shakail back. Will that stop them from aggressing further? No, it won't. Clover has the lineup, instantly deletes Chimera. What else can they find here? Fourth wall running for the hills, but there's no way out to safety when Domino chase you down. It is Blink falling as the last member. Ericsson tries to clear the bot wave, but it's Domino who won the fight, and they've likely won the game off the back of this.
Sometimes Rakan just looks incredibly broken, and that was one of those times. Snarby getting a 4-man charm there into a massive Aphelios ultimate, into Clover dashing the 2 at the top there on the back line. Very well set up by Snarby. They did all that without Shackle, without the Maokai, because the Poppy bonked him out of the fight. But it wasn't enough. 2 of that 3-man core remained. That was more than enough for fourth wall to fall.
Yeah, horrible.